Alright, question number 3. We're given that cosine of theta is 8 over 17. Theta is in quadrant 4. We want to find the value of sine 2 theta, cosine 2 theta, and tangent 2 theta. We also want to find out which quadrant does 2 theta lie in, which I don't know if they want that to be a trick question or not, but they tell us, they want to know what angle does 2 theta lie in if theta is in quadrant 4. Okay. So let's start out with finding the missing angle. So we'll use Pythagorean Theorem. Cosine of theta was equal to 8 over 17. So we have a unit circle. We are in quadrant 4. So let's just say something like this. Here's my right angle, here's my theta. And we'll say that this is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent, this side will be 8, hypotenuse will be 17, so I'm looking for this leg. So again, I'm going to use the shortened formula b equals the square root of c squared minus a squared. Okay, we're going to do 17 squared and then we're going to do minus 8 squared. This should give us 289 minus 64. Let's double check this math. This is 17 squared, 289, and that's subtract 64. It is 225. Okay. So this will give us the square root 225, which will give us 15. So this measurement is 15. And since it's going down from quadrant 4, it's going to be a negative 15. It's going to be a negative 15. So we want to find sine 2 theta. So let me go ahead and find out what sine and tangent are. Sine of theta is equal to negative, the opposite of hypotenuse, so negative 15 over 17, and tangent, just in case we need tangent theta, tan theta is equal to adjacent, opposite over adjacent, so negative, it'll be 15 over 8. And so, just kind of guesstimating, if I were to double, this would be 270. It would be 540, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go from quadrant 4 to probably over here in quadrant 2. This was 360. 1, 2, 3. So looks like minimum. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. We should be from quadrant 4 to quadrant 3 if we double. I'm just kind of doing some math. So let's say if I had an angle over here, let's say 330, and I did double it. That'll be 660. I'm thinking about the last angle. So 360 degrees would be a full circle, okay? And then, so if I say take away 360, that'll give us another 300 degrees. So if I did a full circle, that'd be 360. And then another half circle would be 180. Okay, so that's 180. That would leave us with 120. And so that would be a 60, 180. That'd be 90. Would I still be in quadrant 4? If I had 330, if 330 was my angle, yeah, I would be right back here. It'd be almost double. So we'll see that when we get to that point. But we got the 3 trig functions, but we got to use a double angle identity to find those exact values. So we're looking at these. We want to find sine 2 theta. We want to find cosine 2 theta, and then we want to find tangent 2 theta. So sine 2 theta is equal to this. 2 sine cosine. So sine of 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. Alright, so we found sine and we were given cosine. So we're going to do 2 times those 2 values. So 2 times negative 15 over 17, and then 8 over 17. So if I do 8 times 15, 120 times 2 is 240. That'd be a negative over 289. So 240 over 289 negative. And then cosine 2 theta. We can just do cosine squared minus sine squared. Again, there's 3 different versions here, but the first one should suffice. So we're going to do cosine squared theta times sine minus sine squared theta. Cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay, so cosine theta was 8 over 17, but we're going to square that. 8 over 17 minus sine squared theta. Sine is going to be 15 over 17. Now, even though it's negative, when it gets squared, it's going to become positive. So we get 64 over 289 minus 225 over 289. That looks like you're going to get negative 161. Double check. 64. We're going to take away 225. Negative 161. Seems like that is off. Let me double check this formula again. Cosine minus sine. Yep. Okay. Seems like it should be positive in quadrant 4. Okay, so when we get to the third one, you can do the tangent formula, and it should work out just fine if you want to do the tangent formula. However, instead of doing tangent formula, since they're all 2 theta, remember the relationship between tangent is sine divided by cosine. So if it's 2, it's the same thing, since we already got the values for sine 2 theta and cosine 2 theta. It'll be sine 2 theta divided by cosine 2 theta, which we already have those values here. So I have the sine 2 theta value, and I have the cosine 2 theta value. So if I want to find tangent, let me move this out of the way. So if I want to find tangent, I could also say tangent 2 theta is equal to sine 2 theta over cosine 2 theta, which would be the negative 240 over 289 divided by cosine, which is negative 161 over the 289. So when you keep change flip, basically what happens is the bottoms divide out, and then you have this over this. So 240 over 161, negative divided by negative will be positive. So 240 over 161 is what you get for your tangent.